to two groups in this country, patriots and traitors. No middle ground.
Disinformation is not simply lies or falsifications. It is the art of having your enemies say what you want them to say.
Who would engage in espionage on Twitter? Who would be that stupid? Not me.
It's very important to educate people about these techniques.
They have the Great Reset, we have the Great Awakening.
Another type of active measure is the agent of influence.
And why shouldn't I root for Russia, which I am?
You know, it's very hard for journalists to accept that this has been going on.
What do you get your opinions from? TV?
Disinformation is actually a deliberately distorted or manipulated information that is leaked into the communication system of the opponent with the expectation that it would be accepted as genuine information and influence either the decision-making process, for example, or to influence or manipulate public opinion.
I want to see these people go through misery because of their grooming against our children.
Some questions remain unanswered. What is the effect of all these active measures?
I did nothing wrong.
Welcome to a premium episode of the Did Nothing Wrong podcast, where we cut through the noise and help you make sense of the chaotic information space around us. I'm Griff Somke.
And I'm Jay McKenzie.
On this episode of the Did Nothing Wrong podcast, we're joined by journalist Robert Silverman to discuss Elon Musk's attempt to rebrand Twitter.com to X. Just X. We'll also discuss the horrific video that appears to have been created by a Ron DeSantis campaign staffer and whether or not this messaging will connect with the average Republican voter. Stick around.
X, baby, X. People, I think, are probably wondering what in the hell Elon is doing. Why is he destroying a well-known brand? Why is he just setting fire to Twitter? The idea of this wonderful resource for news and updates and emergency information, and he's just destroying it. He's tearing it down. He's scraping it off the building and off the walls. And yes, he's being the usual troll that he is, but he's also setting fire to his own money by doing this. So what is the goal here?
I've no clue at this point. I mean, I saw one person say destroy it as an organizing tool for the left and encourage the right to use it. And that sounds as close as anything I can think of for it. It makes no sense that he's flushed the amount of brand equity and goodwill and straight up cash down the toilet that he's flushed as a result of all of this. I don't get it.
There are two schools of thought that I've seen circulating. And there was an Axios report about this morning, which was he had a company called X, which merged with PayPal. And this has been an ongoing concern. And they had, whichever this reporter was, I forget, someone's doing an Elon book and has been spending the better part of 3 years with him. Boy, does that guy need a mental health break, I'm sure. So like 12 hours a day with Elon. And
hurts to think about.
Said, actually, no, from the beginning, that was the plan. The plan was to turn it into the US version of WeChat, where it would be a payment system, it would be a direct messaging system, it would be a video platform, it would be your everything app, and therefore everyone would be on Twitter. Now, I have no doubt that Elon said this in conversations with this reporter. I have no doubt that that is a part of what he thinks. The Occam's razor leads me to believe is like whatever delusions he had, and all of that sounds like all of the world-encompassing plans that we've heard from Meta, that we've heard from OpenAI, that we've heard from blockchain enthusiasts and crypto hustlers. They talk in these, the entire tech industry talks in these world-conquering, reality-redefining terms all the time. So it doesn't surprise me that Elon would also use that language and have that kind of grandiosity hardwired.
Right.
But I think he's also a moron. I think all the things he's doing are not necessarily because he wants to destroy an app that some people on the left have used for organizing and a lot of reporters used for news generation and a lot of municipalities now use for breaking news alerts, and has been at various points, as you said, Griff, a very useful tool. It's not like he wanted to do that and necessarily thought, well, I'm going to buy this because I'm going to open the floodgates to all of my far right and in some cases outright actual Nazi pals and let them give them this big megaphone. I think He bought it, and he's a moron, and his ideas are bad, and so he's screwing up.
Right.
That, to me, is the answer. The fact that he is giving a megaphone to the far right. The fact that he now is talking about how, well, it'll be a banking app, and it's going to be this and that. I think, he sort of believes that. But I think the stupidity is at the core of this. And like viewing him as a comic book supervillain, he's not Lex Luthor, man. He's not Dr. Doom. He's too stupid to be Lex Luthor or Dr. Doom. Those guys are smart.
Mm-hmm.
Look, say what you will about the politics of Latveria, but Dr. Doom is a smart guy.
Just because he made a couple mistakes in his calculations, everybody wants to hate on the guy, but no, I mean,
killing Mr. Fantastic is not easy.
No.
I do think he's probably given up on turning this thing profitable, at least anytime in the near future. I don't know that he's given up on the company, but there's no clear way to get the advertisers back. I think he can afford, or at least he thinks he can afford, to take this loss, and he's gonna wing it, and he thinks X is cool, and he renamed his kid X with whatever else is attached, but he calls him X, and he's really obsessed with X. He's also he said he's autistic, when they do have a tendency, people that are autistic will sort of fixate on certain things and obsessively, perhaps unhealthily fixate on things.
I think he probably thinks that just if everyone were as dedicated to the mental grind set as he imagines himself to be and followed his half-cocked, ill-conceived plans to the letter, that suddenly the money would start flowing in. Right. It's not going to. I'm really looking forward to 3 months from now, by the way, when Linda Yaccarino or Linda Waka Flocka is summarily dismissed and then has to sue him for non-payment. That's going to be fun.
And then she has the tell-all interview talking about just what a shit show it was at this particular point.
Or how he may have possibly allegedly groped her and tried to buy her off with a horse or something like that.
Yeah.
Again, we've discussed this when talking about Elmo in the past. The only people now who are still causing him a world-conquering genius are the Ian Miles Chongs of the world.
Right.
He's even lost Cat Turd. But the Ian Miles Chongs are still there, and they're still praising him. And so the fact that he's giving those people more prominence and now evidently concocting some totally sustainable plan to keep paying them off.
Well, and they're praising him no matter what he's doing. So whether it's audience capture or I saw somebody describe it as internet vandalism, or his fans disdain journalists, and journalists have written some things Elon didn't like either. So that's what
happens with power of social relationships. You build up this mob that you don't even have to ever order to go on the attack and start harassing people.
No,
they just know to do it. It's constantly, not even going as far to say who will rid me of this meddlesome priest. Like, all they have to do is mention the priest, and they take it from there.
Yeah, they'll praise him no matter what he does. They don't care. Oh, great idea. They love X. X is the coolest thing. And it ups their engagement, and he gets more attention. More fans are just praising him, and he thinks, wow, well, this was a great idea. And the money will come, or it won't, and I don't need it anyway. Because
Elon's greatness is dedicated to restoring free speech, and so he's willing to burn through all of this capital in order to do so. I mean, you want to know what Elon was doing all this morning? He was reply guying to everyone around, including boosting the conspiracy that the vaccine caused LeBron James's son to have a cardiac arrest. That's where he's at.
You have been listening to a sample of a premium episode of the Did Nothing Wrong podcast. For just $5 a month, you'll get access to this episode, as well as a new one every week, and our entire library of premium episodes. Head on over to didnothingwrongpod.com/subscribe to sign up today. Thanks again for your support. We couldn't do it without you.